kick it out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Back here where we need ya. Back here where we need ya. Yeah, we tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another LEM podcast. We're going to review Week 5, preview Week 6, and I cannot wait to chop it up for you guys. Anyways, without further ado, he's the commissioner, he's the 2012 LEM champ, and he's also a Carry-On Johnson truther.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Come on. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Yeah.
What's up, Dubner? How you doing, man?
Yeah, thanks for the warm introduction there, Judd. As I am your commissioner, I'm your commander-in-chief, your past champion, I'm your draft fight leader, I'm your founder of this podcast, and I'm the current points leader of LEM. It's good to be back on the podcast. Excited for my first episode as a guest.
Unreal. That was probably the best. That's probably the best intro that has ever occurred, both between the host and the guest. Yeah, dude, it's weird having you on as the guest. I mean, I'm going through all this podcast stuff. I'm just following your blueprint of success. And yeah, man, it's a pleasure to have a fellow champ on, as well as the 1 and 2 seeds in our league. How does it feel?
Yes, we are just outright dominating, as you would expect that from two past champions. No surprise there.
Fuck yeah. Anyways, let's get right into it.
I'll be on the edge of my seat all podcast. You never know when the Judd Gauntlet's going to hit.
Fuck yeah. I should start placing the Judd Gauntlet at, like, just a random area. Like, you don't know when it's coming.
I just want Vontae Davis on you and quit on the middle of this podcast.
Dude, that would be pretty fucked up of you, honestly. Anyways, I like to start off with just improvements for our league, some housekeeping. We'll go through the first 3 quickly, the ones that we've been kind of talking about each week. But then I really want to pick your mind about the last one and gauge our league's interest, maybe spark a group me discussion. Anyways, first idea, 1 day delay pickups before the season starts. What are your thoughts on that, Dubner?
I mean, I totally agree with the idea behind this. I actually think that maybe we should do 1 week, just because, or I guess 1 day is fine, but like 1 week I think also gives people, like, especially during the summer when people might not have internet access for a while, if they're out of town or whatever. I'm fine with 1 week of news to roll through and then kind of chunk the pickup together, but I also think 1 day is fine. But in the end, I do agree that there should be a change involving that.
Totally agree. Love it. Next idea was an even number of rounds in the draft. It would make it 18 rounds. I think this needs to be implemented, and it's really just a question of what we want to add. I think you're on the same train as me. Are you rooting for the 2 QB?
So I actually disagree in that we need 18 rounds, just because, yes, it's unfair for whoever is at the end of the draft, but in the end, the 18th round is, there's no difference to me if you're going to the 17th versus 18th for that kind of, in terms of, value or whatever being unfair. I think it's so minor, but I do just, naturally want super flex, so, that would solve the issue on itself, though. And
now a super flex would be QB, tight end, running back, wide receiver.
Yeah, just another flex involving a QB, because I know we're 10-team leagues, everyone should be able to have 2 or 3 quarterbacks, but during bye weeks or whatever, you never know if someone just would rather have a skill position player. So I like that flexibility there.
That's interesting. So it's basically a 2 QB, because I mean QB scores so many more points, but it does involve that aspect. If you do, if you're in a bind, there's no one good on waivers for some odd reason. If obviously more QBs will be on rosters. That's an interesting thing to think about. I mean, people could take the strategy of, taking 2 Aaron Rodgers and Cam Newton, or maybe you just have one QB and you don't run the second QB. Anyways, that's an interesting perspective. The third thing is most points for payout each week. To do this, we would raise the buy-ins to $100, so we could give $5 to the highest scorer each week and $135 to the most points for regular season. I think that makes sense, unless people want to switch that around, but I think $5 per week and then the remainder at the end of the season makes sense.
Yeah, no other comment for me. I just totally agree with that. But, we definitely need to raise the buy-in if we want to do that kind of format.
Yeah, 100%. And then the last one that I really want to talk to you about. So I was talking about this with Alan last week on Sunday after a pretty fun night out on Saturday. Weird brag. Each week, instead of just playing one game head-to-head, you play a second game against the league median, meaning the 5 highest scoring teams will get a win and the 5 lowest scoring teams will get a loss. So each week you'll go 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2. I think that this will help eliminate part of the luck involved, and I know that luck is a big part of fantasy and what makes it so exciting. But I think, when you lose, like Ellis this week playing against you dropped 155. Ellis scored 133. He deserves a win for that. So I guess in situations like that, I think it could be supportive. And, when two teams play each other and it's like a shit show, it's like 65-85 when Mitch and Scott play each other down the stretch. They should both get a loss for it too. Anyways, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement. I was the one that brought this up, I think, last year or 2 years ago, actually. So I've always been a proponent of this. I just think that adding the extra game or whatever decreases the variance in who your actual opponent is. It makes it a little bit more skilled because it's more about points for, while you also have that fun aspect of head-to-head at the same time. So I definitely agree. I think that some people will say that in the end it doesn't matter and it's all going to even out. But I think that this could kind of will have a greater impact on the 6th seed where you have a couple of teams with the records around the same range when we just do head-to-head, but it might separate itself a little bit better when you add this median game as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, you do deserve credit for that because you definitely brought that up really early, I feel like maybe even a couple of years ago. But yeah, I think it's awesome and it would make our league extremely unique. The only thing about it is how are we going to factor that into your record? I guess that would be manually done by the commish. Yeah, so Dubner, you already have a lot on your plate as the commish. From all the free agency auction budget trading to stuff like that, that's a lot to maintenance.
Yeah, I got to issue my taxes as well for every trade. It's a lot to happen, but it is what it is to make the best league in the world,
By the way, we'll jump the gun a little because we'll get to trade talk later. But of course, me and Dubner made the trade. We'll talk about it soon. But Dubner texts me and he goes, you have to add $1 fab going to me, just so. And I was like, all right, Dubner, fine. He's gonna be like, I got James White, Sterling Shepard, and $1. But it's really because you just wanted to say the tax thing. You're hysterical.
Yeah, for those who didn't realize, I actually did make Jug give me 1 fab. That wasn't a joke.
Fuck you, dude. That's cold.
Before we move on past the league improvements, I had one thing that I wanted to ask you about that's similar to that.
Sure.
So FanDuel now has these week-long leagues where you can invite 10 people to a game or whatever. It's 10 of your friends, and then each week play it out again. So it's kind of changing the season-long aspect to daily, but still with just having your 10 guys or whatever in one group.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really interesting. That could be a thing moving forward if we all wanted to do that.
That's a really cool concept, but I don't think we could ever stray away from just the traditional league where there are trades and everything involved. But that's really cool that they actually make a FanDuel league throughout the entire season. And I imagine if you win enough throughout the regular season, are you matched up head to head in that?
So I think it's kind of a 1 versus the other 9 kind of thing.
Got it. Are there are there playoffs or is it a payout per week?
I honestly haven't really looked into it that much. I assume it's a payout per week. But also, like, one of the issues I think I have with that as this, like, a traditional season-long league is I think a lot of people enjoy the aspect of, like, managing your own team and having to trade and going through these, like, roller coaster of a season with, like, your certain players. While, like, on FanDuel, you have, like, access to every player, which is just, like, definitely different and, like, a different way to do fantasy. But I think most people attracted to season-long like the idea of, like, managing your team for an entire year.
Yeah, of course. Maybe like a side league, but I don't think we would ever switch like completely to that. You sound like a FanDuel spokesman.
maybe I'm being paid and I haven't told you guys.
I wouldn't be surprised if you're also a Russian spy that's Jewish and a lovely man.
That'd be true.
Anyways, jumping into the
Nor deny.
anyways, jumping into the new all the action from last week. So the picks, unfortunately I had to do a solo pod. I was trying to get Scott on, but it just didn't work out. Hopefully we figure something out because we all want to hear his beautiful voice. But so I put down my own picks. I picked Alan, Andrew, Ellis, and Adam. I went 3-1, helped out my ratio a little. My picks are now 11-9, 55%, and the guest picks are 14-10, 58%. So hopefully Dubner screws up a few of these picks and I could get back on top of the guests as it should be. Anyways, we'll jump into the matchups from last week, give some quick hitting takes, and I'll pull that up for you right now. First matchup, we have Hamad versus myself. I won the matchup 128-84. Hamad scored the least amount this week. Very surprising from Hamad's powerhouse of a team. And it's definitely, some of it's credited to Jacksonville playing against Kansas City, Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill not doing anything freaky. And also, Hamad has a little bit of a running back issue, I mean, he played Royce Freeman, who had 6 points. Alvin Kamara, I mean, that was pretty lucky of me, even though it wouldn't really affected the outcome. But, yeah, I mean, Hamad having Dalvin Cook, just from a team review, we could talk about this when we go over standings and stuff like that. Hamad definitely has a little issue there, and, whether it's with depth or finding, like, another RB2, just because Dalvin Cook is really disappointed. Anyways, you have any other thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think that one thing that really stuck out to me was we had both Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas in this game. They combined for, like, 15 points, even though the Saints put up, like, 43.
It's crazy.
That definitely stuck out to me. I think that Mahomes and Hill definitely had disappointing games, but, like, their 4 games are still, like, not that bad.
This is basically their floor game, and it's 15-10, which, like, is average. It's good.
Another thing the last thing I'll point out from this game was, I mean, Kenny Golladay is just so good.
Stud.
But that doesn't really take away from the other 2 receivers. I just think that passing game is just, like, has such a high floor. We're seeing that, like, every week now.
Yeah, definitely. The other comment I had, now this is a little humble brag, as you know, if you've listened to the other podcasts, I can't help but to talk about my team whenever I find a door to do it. But I don't think I have the best team. I think I have the most consistent team. I've scored 120 plus points every single week, which I think has fueled me to a 4-1 record. Anyways, on to the next matchup. We have Scott versus Allen. Allen won 125 to Scott's 88. My thoughts on this game were, Isaiah Crowell, because Scott didn't play him and he had like the best game since 2016 for a running back. And my other comment is Allen's team is fucking good. Like, I was just like scrolling through his team and like Saquon, Joe Mixon, AJ Green, Jarvis, Juju, like he has a really solid team. And Tom Brady also had a night. Any other thoughts on this matchup?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to let you get away with just, like, shamelessly plugging your team back there. But
I try to skip by it.
Scott's team is bad. Allen's team is good. Like, let's move on.
Facts. Next matchup, Andrew versus Mitch. This was our closest matchup. Andrew won 99 to Mitch's 93. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Looking at it now for the first time, but I see that Mitchell had the nice combination of Chester Rogers and Quincy Enunwa in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Which you would have not projected that in week 1. And yeah, I mean, Laird's team like, he's definitely hurting with the whole Kevin Coleman, Devonta Freeman thing. Like, just like, he probably drafted them expecting them to combine for 20 points each week, and that's just, like, not happening right now. Burita got hurt as well for Andrew, but this is just, like, another one of those matchups where it's a good example where you want to have that, like, second game of a median score, because these guys both scored under 100, and one of them ended up with a win.
Yeah, true. And looking through the matchup, I mean, Quincy Enunwa getting 0 points against Denver. I mean, you weren't expecting a big game, but, like, that's really tough for Mitch. But I don't feel bad at all, because Mitchell didn't play Aaron Rodgers. He started Cam Newton against the Giants rather than Rodgers versus Detroit, which is, like, Detroit doesn't have a good defense, so how do you bench Rodgers? Rodgers dropped 28 points compared to Cam's 16 points. Mitch should have won.
Yeah.
He should have played his guy.
Judd, what do you expect from someone who drafted 2 top 5 quarterbacks?
I expect nothing other than playing the wrong QB approximately every week.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
I mean,
I'll give you one fad for one of your quarterbacks, so you don't have to make that mistake again.
I mean,
I drafted Big Ben in like the 13th, and he's like the QB too. Weird brag.
There cannot be a worse feeling than benching the best QB talent in the league and losing because of it. Anyways, yeah, Tevin and Devonta's a nightmare. I agree with you. And the Breda injury burns for Lair. I mean, he's going to have to figure that out because his other running backs are Tevin Coleman and Devonta Freeman. So if they're both, like, playing each week, it's not the greatest situation for him. Anyways, on to the next matchup. We have Dubner versus Ellis. Dubner, you putting up numbers starting on Thursday night. You beat Ellis 155 to 133. I'll let you take it away, man. That was quite the week.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are all underestimating my team. You should be expecting nothing less than this from the Draft Guide King. I was pretty much, like, destined to win this week, though. I had a goose egg from Brandon Cooks that, like, hit the nuts at every other roster spot with nearly 5 players going 20+. Yeah, my team just continues to be underrated, and we saw how dangerous the Eagles were last year when we saw that hungry dogs, just, like, run wild. So
run faster.
Watch out.
I love it, Dubner. Did you just say you got a goose egg from Cooks and then you hit the nut on all the other players?
Yes, that is what I said. You heard correctly. I hit the nut.
That is awesome. Anyways, Dubner, that's your second time going big baller brand. That was your second time dropping 155 points. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm about, you know?
Your team, it kind of like Lair last year. Remember, Lair, like, would be like okay each week, and then he would just drop like 200 points here and there, and he was in the race for points for at the end because of it. So you're in my sights for that points for battle, you and Hamad.
I'm actually in front of you, so.
Yeah, but like you're in my sights, like of my gun to get by you.
Yeah, I got you.
Anyways, yeah, no other thoughts on that game. I mean, your team just went off. Oh well, I mean, Ellis is.
I want to bring up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say Ellis's team has like a ton of potential. I think Doug Baldwin will find his groove, and I mean Mark Ingram, what a game, stealing from Alvin Kamara, showing that he owns a piece of that backfield, and that's that like heavy running. You know, when we're up, we're gonna run it with him. We're not gonna risk Alvin Kamara. I mean, I'll say it right now. Ellis's team jumped a tier or two for me in my power rankings.
Yeah, one thing I want to bring up is I think Ellison's team is going to be pretty good the next few weeks, but Yeldon had 22. I think when Fournette comes back, his team, I guess he has Howard and Evans on bye last week, so yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
he's looking pretty good.
Ellis had a heavy bye week.
Having one catch definitely hurt, but I think he'll like continue to get healthier. Another thing that like really burned for Ellis was I had the Bengals D, and they had 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, which it would have been like a 3-point game, I think, if that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's actually insane. I just noticed that. Also, a little fun note from this game: Ellis started Deshaun Watson over Drew Brees. Drew Brees scored 10 more points, maybe or a little less, like 8 points. It wouldn't have made a difference, but just saying, don't draft 2 QBs.
Wait, Judd, how many quarterbacks did Ellis draft again?
TW0.
And how many did Mitchell draft again?
Dos Equis.
And did either of them win this week?
I don't believe so. Did either of them make the correct start?
Yeah, no, I really don't think so.
Don't harm me, Dubner. Oh, that's awesome. All right, last matchup we have Adam versus Billy. Adam beats the German 136 to 104. When I was looking through this game right away, I was like, damn, like Billy's core looked really good. He had production from all positions: Kareem Hunt, Sony Michel, Odell Beckham, Stephon Diggs, and then he just had a few duds, and it did not work out for him. Oh, someone's calling my house phone, but I'm gonna talk through it. But yeah, I mean, that's a tough week for Billy to lose with all that production. And then, Adam had, a big Todd Gurley game. Devonta Adams is basically matchup proof. Yeah. Any other thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, Billy just had like four busts, and that was like pretty much the difference in this game. While Adam, like, he didn't have any straight up like busts like Billy did, I don't think.
Yeah, facts. Too bad the Seal man didn't work out for Billy at tight end. Love that guy. Anyways, let's take a look at the standings after that week. So now going in order.
Who's your point leader again? I forget.
Who's the first seed again? I forget. Touche. Yeah. So at first seed we got myself, Bunsen Cornelius the third at 4-1. I am by myself on an island feasting. In second place we have a pretty big tie, the biggest tie that we have in our standings between Dubner, Hamad, Allen, Andrew, and Mitch. All you guys are 3-2. Dubner has the most points for at 661 points, putting him in second place. And in seventh place, two-way tie between Billy and Adam. They're both 2-3. And then we have a two-person tie for last place between Ellis and Scott. They're both 1-4. So some other notables in the standings. Scott has still the least points for, even after his immaculate week last week, where he now has 565 total points. And then Ellis has the most points against, which kind of makes sense with his 1-4 record and still putting up, decent stats. He has 672 points against him. And Mitchell has gotten pretty lucky as he only has 535 points against him, which makes for the least, and he's 3-2. But yeah, that's kind of the layout that we have right now. A little over a quarter of the way through the season. Do you want to just jump into power rankings, or do you have any other comments?
I have a couple thoughts on this. One, I think it's funny that we're 5 games into the year, and I already almost have 100 more points than Scott. Two, like, Mitchell's team is really not far behind Scott's, which I think that you guys have been, like, relatively high on Mitchell's team compared to his points for in the recent power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Schaefer's gotten a little bit unlucky, but, I mean, I'm 3-2, he's 1-4, and he really only has, 15 more points against it. It's, like, not too crazy. That just, like, shows you, like, the variance in a given week, I think.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but Mitch's team has gotten super lucky. He has 20 less points than, like, the second least then.
True. Yeah, interesting stuff looking at that. Yeah, Ellis is on that 4-game losing streak, which is the biggest streak that we have right now. So, yeah, hopefully his new revived team will change that. Anyways, we'll jump into the power rankings. Dubner said his power rankings are a secret on our Google Doc. Anyways, I'll run into my tiers and my overall power rankings. Feel free to interject, Dubner. But yeah, I do have some switches from last week. I'll start with my tier 1. I have Allen, myself, and Hamad. I no longer really view Hamad as his own island. I think it's still a crapshoot for who has the best, most consistent team. But yeah, I mean, right now in tier 1, I have those 3 teams. In tier 2, I have Urkus and Ellis. Ellis's team showed that promise, and I still trust in Adams' stud potential and Todd Gurley, Gronk, along with other solid players. We'll see what he does with Kenyon Drake if, the coach decides to actually give him carries. A few question marks on Urkis's team, but I trust his management along with having those amazing first 3 picks and Devonta Adams. In tier 3, I have Dubner, Andrew, and Billy. All these teams are pretty good, and I don't really want to. Any team that I've listed so far, I don't want to play. The only teams I do want to play are Mitchell and Scott, who I have in my last 2 tiers. So yeah, Mitch kind of dropped a tier for me after this week. Just not that impressed by it. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it's looking right now. A few changes. My main changes were Hamad not being on an island, Mitchell moving down, Ellis moving up, and you moving up a lot, Dubner. You actually had the biggest jump for me.
Yeah, I mean, my team continues to be underrated. I'll take on that underdog mentality and continue to prove you guys wrong. But as for your power rankings, yeah, I agree with your first tier. I would put you, Alan, and Hamad in the same tier. You guys are all have strong teams who could win any week. I actually disagree with Adam's team. I don't know, his team just doesn't do it for me. I'm not a huge fan of both Demarius and Sanders on the same team, considering Keenum is their quarterback.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, he has the best player in fantasy in Gurley, so he's not, his team isn't bad. I just don't agree with that he should be a second tier by himself. And that's really where my changes differ, in that I think that there's that first tier of 3 teams, and I think there's a big second tier where it should really be Ellis, Adam, Dubner, and Andrew all combined.
True.
And I'm actually dropping Billy down a tier into a tier by himself in his 3rd tier, and I'm grouping Mitch and Scott together in the 4th tier.
Interesting. Yeah, I could get behind all that. Not too much variance, but I could see, you have your top tier, and then the second tier is basically all these teams that you still don't really know yet.
Right.
And yeah.
It depends on the matchup for that given week.
Yeah, and really, in that middle tier, you got a lot of big question marks. For example, on your team, if Leonard Fournette's able to actually finish the season and do what he does, I mean, that's your team will definitely be a contender. But, I mean, if not, that's going to plague your season.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fournette's going to be out until the bye, which will actually get him healthy. So as long as I can make the playoffs, I think my team is going to be really dangerous down the stretch when he's healthy. But, yeah.
Do you really believe he's going to be healthy?
If they hold him out for 4 weeks, he should be good to go.
I feel like Leonard Fournette doesn't know, when he's actually healthy. He's I'm ready to go. And then he gets out there and he gets hurt again. And, he just doesn't know.
Little kid, when he, sees candy, no matter how much he's already had, he just, still wants more, But, it's his hamstring. He doesn't know his hamstring is hurt, but he's like, ooh, football, let me go play.
Ooh, football, let's go play, man. Let's go play, man. All right. Anyways, we'll get... Sorry. Were you saying something, or should I move on?
Let's move on. No one had to hear that.
All right. I love you. All right. Going into some transactions from this past week. We'll start off with the waiver wire. So the top pickup of the week, surprised it was not Scott, because Allen picked up, right now it's looking like maybe the top running back in the committee for the Eagles. He picked up Wendell Smallwood for 25 fab. I think that was a good pickup. Alan was asking us last night, do you think I overspent? I mean, $25 is what Adam calculated it actuarian style. It's 12.5% of your budget. I have no issue with that. He's getting a starting running back for at least 1 week. Maybe we ended up trading for someone, which will obviously devalue that pickup. But I mean, if he plays Wendell this week, I'm fine with that. And maybe Wendell breaks out a little.
Yeah, I mean, we can debate whether between Judd's awful math on the fat percent, we can debate Allen.
It wasn't awful.
Too much. We can debate, Allen, this not being a great waiver wire week. But thank you for just not burying the lead, in that it should be the most shocking thing that Scott didn't acquire Wendell Smallwood. But what's actually more surprising is that Scott did not even place a bid for Wendell Smallwood. So he clearly just wasn't even paying attention to waivers, right?
Facts. Yeah. Scott was still on a high from his high scoring week last week.
Yeah, super off brand of Scott. You got to pick up your game.
Come on, Scott. Anyways, the next pickup, we have Billy picking up the Packers D for $9. It kind of annoys me. Sorry, yeah.
One thing I forgot to add is I did bid 22 for Wendell Smallwood.
Ooh.
So, Alan, you're correct in that, like, if you wanted him, that's what you had to bid. So, yeah.
Yeah, that definitely solidifies it a little. I got to figure out how to see the other bids. I think you can only see it on a computer and not your phone, and I always just look at my phone.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, the next pick is Billy picking up the Packers D. This kind of burns me a little because I'm playing Billy this week, and Packers have a solid matchup. And I actually played the Packers 2 weeks ago when they played the Bills. They had a great game, helped me get a win. So, yeah, that kind of burned that I didn't just hold on to the Packers.
I had to pick up the Packers for 6, so, like, another close bit in the war there.
Tough, dude. You're losing them right now. Next pickup, I picked up Andy Dalton for 8 fab. I realized I did not have to bid that much. I was feeling a little frisky when I was laying in bed, and I was like, oh, I'll put down 8 fab. You know, like I feel like I haven't spent any fab this year yet. So I was like, fuck it. But the main reason why I did it was Phillip Rivers has a bye week 8, and Andy Dalton plays Tampa Bay, and they're home. So I was like, let's ride. And I also saw the matchup this week. Andy Dalton's playing the Steelers. And I thought, you know, then they're home, so I was like, maybe it'll be, you know, a high-scoring game. But then the more I thought about it today, I feel like it'll be like one of those classic divisional matchups that are low-scoring. So I do have a QB decision to make between him and Rivers. Rivers is playing Cleveland. See, I'm talking about my team again, but I was the pickup. Can you hear me? My dad's trying to call through the pod. Very rude. All right, word. Next pickup. Dubner, it was you. You picked up Mike Davis for $7. You finally got one.
Yeah, I mean, super not sexy of a pickup. Like, I'm just very depleted this week between my injuries and the bye week. I figured, you know, Mike Davis, he has a heartbeat. Like, he should be on my team then.
He has a heartbeat. I love it. If you have a heartbeat and you're a running back, you're on my squad. I mean, yeah, it's a shit show in Seattle. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. Definitely like a value pickup.
The thought process is that coaching staff is so inept where, like, they shouldn't be running the ball, but they're running it 40 times a game. So, you know what? I'll just take a stab at it.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre, and they've been having success the last 2 weeks, but I mean, we'll see what happens with that. The next pickup is Adam picking up Jameis Winston for $6, thinking he'll, you know, break out. The weird part of it is he did have Alex Smith, and I kind of liked Alex Smith, even though he had a bad week. I mean, he doesn't throw interceptions and he's consistent, but yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna just run through these last ones. Oh, Dubner picking up the Chargers D for $5. They have a good matchup this week, right?
Yeah, they get the Browns.
Pretty good. Then I picked up the Pats D for $1, looking at the future a little bit. See, this is the strategy we talk about, Hamad, with defenses. We don't want to get rid of them because it's a strategy of playing matchups week by week. Next pickup, Billy got Robbie Anderson for $0, and then I think he dropped him after. I don't even know. And then Dubner picks up MVS. Who's that?
Yep, that's my boy, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I'm absolutely plugging him in again if, not again, but for my first time, if Geronimo is out with a concussion. I'm just not sure. But I think MVS is, like, hashtag good, and is, like, good down the stretch if he's ever like the second Packers receiver.
Interesting that you also offered me a trade today for, you know, just mentioning like I would be interested in Geronimo Allison. Would you be willing to roster Randall Cobb, Geronimo Allison, and Valdez-Scantling, whatever his name is?
Yeah, I mean, that would just be to, like, kind of get the Packers second receiver. I would probably end up drafting someone. But yeah, like, I'm definitely interested in Allison still.
Interesting. Anyways, that's a good segue into our...
And Allison does have a heartbeat, so he belongs on my roster.
Yeah, but he's a wide receiver, so he's nothing special.
Yeah.
That's a nice segue into the trades. So, finally we're getting to it. The big news of the week. Sorry that my phone keeps on beeping, but that's not the big news of the week. The big news of the week is that Dubner and I made the first trade involving players of the season, because there were some fab trades early on, but we made the first player trade of the season. I traded a
fab involved. Don't forget that $1.
Never mind, there was a fab involved, but there were players involved. You know, that's what was going on. The tax, who cares? Okay, tax is nothing to a guy like me. High tax bracket. So the trade was I traded away James White and Sterling Shepard for Kerryon Johnson. I guess I'll give my thought about this. You give your thought. Overall, I thought it was a pretty even trade at the moment that I was doing it. This was on the Thursday night right before the Colts-Patriots game, where James White proceeded to get like 9 catches in the first half, a touchdown, had a great week. I'll be honest, James White's looking like a consistent RB2 every single week. Him and Sony Michel are like the same level. So the reasoning for me, I picked up Sterling Shepard recently. Evan Ingram's coming back. James White's doing really well right now, but I felt like that weird week will come up where he scores like no points. And I was like, I want to cash in now, and I want to, I was trying to figure out who to get. Trade talks kind of fell through with a few people. And I've been loving Kerryon Johnson. He's right now I feel like he's performing at his floor, which is like 10 points every week, right around there. And I think there's like really high potential if something happens to LeGarrette Blount, or if he just overtakes the role. So yeah, I was really just buying into that upside, as I do have some issues at running back. But yeah, I thought it was an even trade to help both of our teams, and it was pretty fun. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not about to take victory lap after like 1 week. Obviously, I'm feeling good about this trade, but I know the fantasy guys are harsh if you start getting cocky. But like, my thought at the time was that it was a super fair trade, and that these were all 3 of these guys were on our bench, and so I was pretty much giving up like the sexy upside of Kerryon, who like is clearly the best running back in the Lions backfield, and the coaching staff is just being like brutal. And I wanted that depth in James White and Sterling Shepard. And like in hindsight, I'm super happy about the trade. Not just because of like how they played last week, but I mean, I had Brandon Cooks get hurt, I had Leonard Fournette get hurt again, and this all happened after the trade. So like, I'm very happy I acquired depth, like in advance,
Yeah, that was definitely big for you. Yeah, I'm just praying that Kerryon can turn into the player that I know he is. I mean, we've seen flashes. I've seen those Detroit games and him making one-handed catches in the backfield, putting on a spin move. I mean, the dude, if he was like given the keys to that backfield, I mean, Saquon's the best rookie easily, but I think he would put a little competition for like the best rookie running back. I mean, there's no one else really there. Royce Freeman is getting outplayed by Phillip Lindsay. I feel like Kerryon is just a great player, and that Detroit offensive line is better than what it has been. So I was kind of buying into that.
Yeah, I mean, Kerryon, I think he's legit. It's just like the coaching staff you have to be worried about. I mean, like, of course, the week after we make this trade, LeGarrette Blount steals not 1 but 2 goal line touchdowns. So like, it's like tough to get that until you see like that role change.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, Kerryon still had a solid week though. He had like 10 points, 11 points or something. And I love that consistency out of my running back with the wide receivers I have. I don't need a crazy week for my running backs. I just need like a consistent play, like around the 10-point range. Anyways, this is definitely a long-term investment for me. As well, it's a depth play for you with some of the injuries and adversity that your team is facing. So overall, I don't think I would switch the trade. I'm not just saying that. Like, I truly do believe. Maybe I would try and leak out a decent second player from you. But yeah, I do. I enjoy buying into Kerryon Johnson long term, and if it works out for me, this will be very satisfying. Anyways, getting into some of the other trade talks. No other trades this week, but Hamad wanted me to say that Allen keeps on asking for Kamara without offering Saquon. Hamad seemed a little annoyed about it. My only comment is, Hamad, you have a history of making poor trades. So yeah, there's that. Hamad also.
Oh, that's very true. Was Hamad the one that traded like Gronk for like the aging Steve Smith that 1 year?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it happened multiple times.
But he's made some terrible trades.
And it always happens with Billy. I'm pretty sure that was with Billy. I remember there was like an ongoing joke, like every year Hamad has Gronk, he always trades him like right before the playoffs to Billy. Another trade talk. So Hamad said he's obviously trying to trade for depth. I think he let that be known because his team is pretty top heavy and not much depth. So
yeah, that's the same with me. I particularly have Ebron and Kyle Rudolph, so willing to give up a tight end. I know tight ends are hard to trade in our league, but I definitely have two solid ones there. Judd, I was actually talking to you earlier about possibly giving you Rudolph, and you said that you're fine with Cameron Brate. But little did you know, about an hour after we were in those discussions, I'm not sure if you've seen yet, but O.J. Howard, he ended up practicing today a bit. I'm not sure if that's going to scare you off and want to maybe re-engage in those trade talks.
Oh, thank you for that news update, and that makes me happy because O.J. Howard was like a top 5 tight end until he got hurt. It does worry me a little for this week a little, just because, I don't want them splitting time. I'd rather have Cameron Brate just alone. But if O.J. Howard can come back and be healthy and, play the rest of the season, I'm happy about that. But yeah, I guess you do make a point. Cameron Brate.
Interesting, because Winston has always preferred Brate, I think, especially in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
So Howard was crushing it with Fitzpatrick, but I think it's definitely at least a different story until proven otherwise with Winston under center.
I agree. You make a good point. In argument of O.J. Howard, he has something that I don't think any other tight end in the league has besides maybe Gronk, which is O.J. Howard could literally take a slant or any type of pass to the house because he's just such a physical specimen and he's pretty fast. And I don't there are no other tight ends with that upside. And O.J. Howard showed it against the Eagles and, in other matchups, and he's been big on third down and stuff like that. And yeah, part of that was Ryan Fitzpatrick just looking his way, but at least I wanted to make myself believe that O.J. Howard took a step and kind of leveled up, and he would be a tight end with this 60-yard touchdown upside, which makes it promising. But yeah, I'll probably rather just have Cameron Brate without O.J. Howard, so we'll see. I also like keeping O.J. Howard in my IR, so if he ends up being active for the game, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with my lineup. Probably not going to roster 2 tight ends, though.
All right, let's move on to the matchups or whatever it's next?
Yeah, Yeah, Dubner. Damn, I feel like you're the host again, bro. I miss you. All right.
I'm follow you around. Actually, before we get into the matchups, I have a lifestyle question where I'm asking for your advice.
All right, I love it. What is it?
All right, so I'm seeking your advice on none other than my caffeine addiction. So I'm personally up to 2 cups minimum per day, and I've become so desensitized to coffee that I'm no longer getting caffeinated. I just get back to kind of baseline, if that. So my question is, do I try to resensitize myself and go through caffeine withdrawal, or do I just keep cranking 2+ cups a day?
How busy are you right now?
I'm in med school, so I have a ton of shit every day.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go through the whole caffeine withdrawal right now. It's a bad time. Maybe you do that grapefruit idea, Dubner. Something said that. Yeah,
That's a good call. I'm gonna have to order up a bottle.
Yeah, dude, get some grapefruit. Chug it down. Maybe you switch up the types of coffee you drink and keep your body, on its toes. Drink iced coffee, hot coffee. Switch off to some espresso with a bunch of milk in it. Mix it around. Don't get the same exact thing every day, because that's when your body knows what's going on. I'm relating this a little to my physical therapy for my leg. So in strengthening it, I've been doing these stationary, lunges or whatever, and I do them onto one of those balance balls when it's half of it's flat and then there's a ball rounded up on the top. And for each one I do, the guy told me to step in a different area of the ball to keep my body off balance, because your body will adjust and then it'll make it easier. So you want to make it hard on yourself. So do the same thing with your coffee drinking.
None other than the Mr. Lifestyle Guru. Thank you for your advice.
No problem. That was awesome. Yeah, man, maybe I should be a therapist or something. All right. Anyways,
Do that.
all right, let's jump into the matchups this week. So we're previewing week 6. First matchup, we have Billy versus Judd. I am projected 108. Billy is projected 118. Damn, that's a lot of points. I'll run through some of the starters. I'll try and not exhaust it. I do have Michael Thomas out on bye, which really burns, but I still have AB, Julian, and Cooper Kupp. In that other flex position, I'm starting Geronimo Allison currently Monday night against San Fran. We'll see what happens with that. And I'm plugging in LaShawn McCoy this week. On the other end of the ball, Billy, he's got Kirk Cousins against Arizona, Kareem Hunt against New England, along with Sony Michel, so he has a stack in that Sunday night game between Kansas City and New England. Both of those running backs do look pretty promising. OBJ, Stephon Diggs. I mean, Billy's got a solid team, and he's also starting Chris Carson against me, who I dropped a few weeks ago, so I'm praying that doesn't bite me in the ass. But yeah, man, we'll see. I think it'll be a close matchup, but as I was voicing in the group me earlier this week, I've been eating turkey every day, and I'm feeling an early Thanksgiving this year. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think eating turkey is going to do much for you this week because I think Billy's got you on this.
Ooh.
I don't love Billy's team. I just think that I just don't like your team less, if that makes sense, or whatever. But, like, you have a couple of players on bye. Allison might not play. Kupp might not play. And I think that as much as I don't want Odell to go off, I think that he might just, like, crush the Eagles on Thursday. Hopefully it doesn't happen.
I did hear the weather was going to be poor for Thursday night, which would definitely help with that regard. You know, they're not going to throw the ball deep.
I'll be there, so hopefully I'll be booing Odell. Maybe that'll work.
That's dope that you're going to the game. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm pumped to sit in the rain and watch the Eagles disappoint me.
Fuck that, dude. We're getting a dub.
Yeah, the most disgusting stat so far is the defending Super Bowl champions, your Philadelphia Eagles, have now lost to both teams the Bills have beaten.
Oh, that's actually absurd. I never put that together. All right.
I'm going to throw up.
On that note.
So I picked Billy, yeah.
All right. Next matchup, it's Allen versus Scott. Adam versus Scott. Urkus versus Scott. Urkus is projected 118. Scott's projected 114. I'm not even going to review it that well. We know who's on each team. A bunch of Philadelphia players playing in the rain versus Gronk, Todd Gurley, and Devonta Adams. I'm going to take Adam.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to blindly pick against Scott. I don't even need to know who he's playing or what the matchup. Give me Adam.
The disrespect. By the way, Scott is the highest point scorer in a single week so far in our league.
He has the least points for in any of our league, despite having the highest score. That shows you how bad his other 4 weeks have been.
All about how you manipulate data, baby. But he could do it any given week. You don't know. Next matchup, we have Allen versus Mitch. Allen is projected 125 to Mitch's 111. I'll go through this matchup a little. I mean, Mitch is starting Quincy after his goose egg. David Johnson's been heating up a little.
Allen and move on.
Yeah, all right, we could just do that too. But I will say, Mitch is playing Josh Gordon, and I think Josh Gordon has a big week.
I mean, Mitch is starting Josh Gordon, who, like, yes, he has big week potential. He's still risky. Starting Tariq Cohen, Quincy and Newell, Sammy Watkins. Like, doesn't have one, like, receiver or flex where you're like...
Well, at least Amari Cooper isn't in there.
Definitely going to get 10 points. Allen, but Allen has Saquon, Joe Mixon, AJ Green. Like, 2 of the 3 of them will probably have big games.
Yeah, I mean,
Good enough games.
Allen's team is balling.
And Juju.
And yeah, Joe Mixon's a workhorse.
Allen has a good team.
All right, I put you down for Allen. Next game, we got Ellis versus Andrew. Ellis is projected 115 to Andrew's 120. Yeah, so, like, when I was picking the games, I was like, oh, it's going to be Adam, Allen, and now I don't know. Ellis is starting Deshaun Watson. Andrew's starting his $108 fab Jared Goff. Andrew's got Zeke. He's starting Tevin Coleman and Devonta Freeman currently. Some news did just come out about Devonta, though, that he's dealing with a bone contusion and he's been having some soreness. So this might actually help Andrew if he's able to bench Freeman, play Tevin Coleman solely, and then, maybe plug in a guy like Mike Williams or, Ish Smith, I guess, if he wants to stay with that Atlanta stack. but we'll see. Ellis is dealing with some buys. He's got Mark Ingram on buy, Drew Brees on buy. Thank God he has 2 QBs, right, Dubner?
Yeah, I mean, how can you win a matchup without riding a good QB on your bench? Like, I mean, my subconscious would just be eating at me all week, not knowing that I had a secure QB riding my bench.
Fire. Ellis he's benching Aaron Jones.
So,
Might have a big week.
We have a matchup of a team that drafted 2 quarterbacks early in the draft, and a matchup against a team that just blew over 50% of his budget for a QB that no one else bid on. That's just, you can't make that shit up. You can't make it up.
Full circle. I love it. Does this mean that you're taking out Andrew?
Nah, I'm actually going to go with Ellis here. Andrew's actually projected to win. I'll ride the money line plus money on the underdog.
Yeah, I'm actually also going to pick Ellis because when I was looking at his team, I mean, look, Mark Ingram might be on bye, but he's still got Jordan Howard and James Conner, amazing running backs. And at wide receiver, Mike Evans against Atlanta, that is a feast. And John Brown against susceptible Tennessee cornerbacks. I mean, I feel like both of those guys might eat. Doug Baldwin should bounce back against a shitty Oakland defense. I'm really liking some of Ellis's matchups this week, which is why I'm taking him. On to the next matchup.
A dramatic pause there.
Yeah, I was going to say, and that's why I'm out. Like what they do in Shark Tank, but I realized it had no, relation to my statement. Dude, honestly, I have to pee. I was actually just thinking about this. Will it be good content for me just to stay on the phone with you and, take a quick piss before I get into the questions?
I'm going to probably say no, it's not good content, but...
It's great content. I love it. Thanks, Dubner. Last matchup, we have Dubner versus Hamad. Dubner's projected 110 to Hamad's 103. Do you want to take this over?
Yeah, I mean, this is just like a shit show matchup between all the players who are going to be missing in this game. I mean, I have Marvin Jones on bye, Brandon Cook's likely out, Fournette is already ruled out, Hamad has Kamara on bye, Galladay on bye, Stafford on bye, Dalvin Cook is questionable, Fuller is questionable, so it's kind of just like a war of attrition at this point.
It's an even matchup based on all that, though.
Yeah, I mean, it came at a good time because we're not just, having to throw a week, essentially, but, yeah, I'm not feeling too good, and Hamad, I'm sure, is probably not feeling good either.
Yeah, it's interesting who Hamad's playing at running back. He's playing Dalvin Cook and Alfred Morris. So, I mean, with...
How if Cook misses? Does he even have a second running back on his team?
Royce
Freeman, who's been awful, but...
Yeah, he has Royce Freeman, who I guess he would have to play, out of, literally necessity. He has 3 running backs.
Yeah.
That's mental, dude. What are you doing, Hamad? Honestly, I'm going to take Hamad down in my power rankings, down a tier, just because of his management. I'm just, I see so much questionable things.
Hamad's team is so good because Kamara was without Ingram. Yes, I still expect him to be good, but, not the insane level he was before. And, we just so happen to have seen, Tyreek Hill, parlay 3 great weeks in a row, but, that was just, not his normal archetype. He's going to be more of that, 8 to 10, 2 or 4 weeks, and, 20 the other 2. So it's just, depends on what week you, run into him on, you know?
Yeah, we'll see. I think
boom bust play.
I think I like Tyreek Hill a little bit more than you just because I think he's their most electric playmaker and they're going to give him the ball as much as they can. And Pat Mahomes is more than capable. But yeah, I mean, Hamad, why was dude, Hamad literally messaged in the group me today. He's like, hey, I'm looking for this, that, and the other, and also a kicker. Dude, are you serious? Drop Will Lutz.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Dude, drop Will Lutz. He's on a bye, and pick up any kicker you want, who's not injured or a backup. That. I was actually I didn't know whether to laugh or just shake my head. Anyways.
Thank you for bringing that up because we were burying the lead there. First of all, Hamad, I think that there would have been a greater than 60% chance if you just dropped Will Lutz, no one would have even noticed, and you could have picked him up next week.
So stupid.
You really wanted to
Will Lutz didn't even look good last game. He missed his first extra point, hit the post on the next extra point, and then it was already a blowout.
Yeah. Kickers don't matter. Kicker lives do not matter.
They all have AIDS. We gotta delete them. Fucking exit.
You're gonna pick your who'd you pick?
So just because Hamad was acting like a dickhead, I'm taking you, Dubner. I love Melvin Gordon. James White against Kansas City should have a big game. I'm taking you, Dubner. Hamad doesn't have Alvin Kamara.
I mean, as you should, defend your point later, but
I really shouldn't take you because you didn't take me, and that offended me. You know what? I might change my mind by the end of the podcast. We'll see. Also, Adam Thielen has been an absolute monster. Also,
Dude, he's on pace to, like, shatter the target record. Like, annihilate it. He's
Dude.
on pace for the most targets, like, 30.
He dropped way too far. I was thinking about him in the third round, I think, but I was like, I already have 2 wide receivers. I'll be honest, I was going to take Stephon Diggs instead of Adam Thielen, but, I mean, Stephon Diggs also been playing well, but...
I was literally about to draft Diggs over Thielen, just because, like, I feel like Diggs is, like, the sexy guy who's like, the prototypical, like, beast. But I was like, you know what? I have Thielen ranked higher. I'm going to stay true to my rankings. So,
wow.
Good, though.
You hear that, guys? A shameless plug to his rankings. It worked out for him in the long run. We'll see, though, down the stretch, because Stephon Diggs likes the prime time.
Yep.
Anyways, that sums up the matchups for the week. It's been fun, Dubner, and we're not even done yet, because we're going to get into the questions. Let's do it, baby. All right, I'm pulling it right up right now.
Greg, you just called your gauntlet the questions. That
Well,
way less intense.
it starts off with a few normal questions, and then a part of the questions is the Judd Gauntlet. Get your facts straight. Unfortunately, I only received one question, Dubner. I'm sorry. It might have been because of the late notice, or for whatever reason.
I'm usually the one that submits all the questions.
Facts. This question comes in from Mitch. He says, Dubner, does your new apartment have a snack cabinet as good as your old one at home?
Well, to be honest, my old one at home was obviously fire. But right now, like, whenever I go home, my snack cabinet is not on point. My snack cabinet here, I would say it's pretty good. I always have, like, a healthy handful of chips or some chocolate bars, some ice cream, whatever I need.
Shit, you do it right, man. You do it right. Like, I will always trust snacks at any place hosted by the Dubners. Just putting that out there. Nice, because Mitch's follow-up was, if it's not as good, you should step up your game. Anyways, that was that. Good job, Mitch. We'll get into the Judd Gauntlet. I don't know if you're ready for this.
I remember going to your house all the time, and I would always get Dunkaroos. Is that right? Or am I just remembering that incorrectly?
Oh, bro, we probably had some Dunkaroos out there. I mean, you know.
Peanut butter and fluff. That shit was fire.
Oh, so fire. Yeah, we got some weird snacks, though, now. There are a lot of snacks that... Dude, I literally snack all day at work. They're like peanut butter crackers and, like, chips and, like, sun chips and all this shit. All right, that's besides the point. We're getting into the Judd Gauntlet.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That's it.
welcome to the main event.
My heart is beating out of my chest.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Woo! Yeah, let's get into it. All right, guys, I'm going to switch it up a little on you. I ain't going into my old voice. I'm going to get a little jiggy with it. And I kind of forgot to prepare this gauntlet. I wrote this on the fly. Hey, Michael, when's the last time you got high?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Fo shizzle my nizzle grizzle. Does Rachel make the food in the pot sizzle?
I'm here so I just don't get fined.
No, actually, it does. Is Rachel a good cook?
I usually cook for the both of us. So I would say I'm the cook.
Oh, wow.
Pick me out restaurants.
Can I come over for a meal sometime?
Yeah, what do you want? Make you up some nice little stir fry?
Yeah. Oh, yes. If that's your go-to, 100%. That's happening when I come to New York at some point, which will be soon, near future.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
All right, word. So I guess I'll make every line rhyme. Do you still wear ankle socks a majority of the time?
No, I do not.
Oh, nice.
I'd say half the time.
Okay. Leonard Fournette's hamstring is experiencing immense damage and fatigue. What is the hardest part of being the commissioner of our league?
I would say whenever. Huh. I wouldn't. No. I'm trying to give a thoughtful answer here.
As you should.
I would say trying to get the draft day started when like everyone starts to get really exciting, just starts like yelling at each other and like not being quiet when they're trying to start.
Yeah, it gets crazy. And also like keeping track of all the fab and all that. All right, Billy's back from Germany, made those girls queef and squeal. We've been ripping on your team the past few weeks. How did it feel?
Well, not as bad as Billy getting queefed on.
Pussy fart. We know you love ice cream, maybe with some whipped cream. What is your football Sunday go-to routine? This is so corny.
Arby's don't matter.
What?
Arby's don't matter.
What's that?
Constantly saying running backs don't matter.
Oh, running backs don't. Oh, gotcha. I was misunderstood. Okay. Oh God, Cooper Kupp scored again. I can feel the jizz. Explain to me what a mitochondria is.
It's what powers yourself, Judge.
Well, Hamad would say it's the powerhouse of the cell. And I would say I'm the mitochondria of our league.
That was brutal.
I'm sorry. It was supposed to be. Anyways, that was the Judd Gauntlet. I don't think it was my best one. I was trying something new. I was kind of thinking of it on the fly, and I was like, damn, I'm going to just rhyme every single one. And it just sounded like a corny poem.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting better. Again, I was just here so I don't get fined. I didn't Vontae Davis on you and retire in the middle of the show. So that should be good enough for you.
Yeah, I'll have you back on, Dubner, and I'll hit you with that intense Judd Gauntlet. I wanted to keep it easy on you at first because you're a delicate flower.
Are you ready for me to stir your fry when you come up to New York?
Yeah, dude. I nothing else I would want more. I mean, my treat.
Yeah, that sounded like you know the Lil Dicky song "Professional Rapper" where he's at the end she's like, "You want head?" He's like, "Head." What are you talking about? Or did it get really weird?
No, I think I do. But I was waiting for you to say like, "Wait, head, my treat." Anyways, that kind of sums up the podcast. I love chopping it up with you, Dubner. We just have this natural back and forth that really made this an enjoyable time for me. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun time. I was happy to be on. I liked being on as a guest, so I didn't have to prepare the show sheet. Definitely, I'm sure a lot of people don't realize how much time it takes, and I'm happy that you're continuing on this podcast legacy here, as it does continue our league's involvement, so we all appreciate it, Judd. And the last thing I'll end with is running backs don't matter.
Facts. Thank you, Dubner, for the wise words of wisdom. And let this be known. Yesterday I was looking at my Fortnite, and I was like, oh shit, I haven't really set up the pod yet. Dubner would be disappointed. My league mates would be disappointed. My family would be disappointed. And you know what I did? I opened up my iPad, quit out of my porn private browser, and I went chugging. So, and no, it's really not that hard. I just copy and paste it each week and then like just do some stuff. But I do enjoy doing it because I love fantasy football. I love you guys. Thank you for coming on, Dubner. I don't really have any other last words. I'm excited for the game, Eagles game tomorrow. Dope that you're going to the game, Dubner. Wear a raincoat, and I'm excited to have a Sunday finally where there's no Eagles game, so I could literally just like not care and just look at fantasy and just act like a fat ass.
Yeah, those are always dangerous. Like watching fantasy for like 12 hours straight.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's not going to be good. And usually Saturdays during the day, you know, I play, you know, a few hours of Fortnite, so it's a lot of TV and just animalistic consumption of stupid shit. So I'm a little worried for my health, but yeah, basically. Anyways, yeah, that's it, guys. I'll send you the link. This is another Fortnite pod with your boys, Jay Solo and Dubner. I'm coming for that back to back. Love you guys.
I got hoes calling a young nigga phone. Where's Ollie with the motherfucking ball?
Had to switch it up for y'all. Yeah. I have to pee too. You want to pee with me? Bum. This is content. Yeah, Dubner, I love you. Great pod. Nice pee at the end of it. That was bonding. I love you, Dubner. Good luck in med school. Go Birds. Wrong microphone.